Hey everybody, welcome back for another video. In this video, we're going to talk about how to hit your wedges better if you struggle with consistent strikes. So more often than not, when I see someone struggling with hitting their wedge shots, whether it's a half wedge or a full wedge, it's usually because they have too much wrist hinge in their swings. When they get too much wrist hinge, the leading edge gets exposed. Therefore, if the club hits the ground first, it's the leading edge that hits the ground first, and that's why, because it's so sharp, you're going to chunk the ball. Okay, you can see if I hinge the most and hit the ground, you can see I've taken a big divot. My club is digged into the ground, and therefore it stops the club. There is no transfer of energy through the ball, so even if I do hit the ball somewhat, the ball doesn't go the distance that we want it to go. Other times, if you hinge too much and you somehow manage to pull yourself up and not hit the ground first, you're going to probably scull it or thin it, and again leading to very inconsistent deliveries of the club to the ball. With wedges, we want to be the most consistent with our delivery. We want to be able to control the carry distance in a very tight window to hopefully help us score better. So for all you people who struggle with hitting your wedge shots, I suggest that you try to make your wedge shots, whether it's half swing or full swing or quarter swing or three-quarter swing, try to make it with as little hinge as possible, feeling no hinge. Again, this is a feel. You feeling no hinge is literally not having no hinge. So when you set up, you can see I have roughly a straight line from my shoulder to my hands to my club, okay? I don't hinge at setup. If my feel is to try to maintain this straight line the entire time, whether it's a half swing or a full or a three-quarter or full swing, chances are I know I'm going to hinge a little bit, but because my intent is to maintain a straight line, the straight line returns very easily. Therefore, if the straight line returns, I know the leading edge is not the lowest point to the ground. I know the bounce is, because every single wedge has a certain amount of bounce. The leading edge is never the lowest part to the ground unless you lean it quite a bit, which is what happens when you hinge too much. So if you guys film yourself on video, I suggest that from a looks perspective, and we'll start with a half swing, from a looks perspective, we want things to be as wide as possible. And you can see there, I'm very wide because I have no hinge. If I hinge, you see lots of club. We don't want to see that, okay? So start with making half swings on the range, really trying to get comfortable with hitting the ground first with the bottom of your club, which I've done there, and it really becomes for you guys being more aware of how the club is being delivered through the ball and seeing how far behind the ball you can get away with hitting it, because again, the bounce is very rounded. It's not going to penetrate the ground. You can literally hit probably 2-3 inches behind the ball. Whoops, sorry, I've hit that old divot of mine. It got caught. You can literally hit 2-3 inches behind the ball, and you can see the club never gets caught, okay? So what you want to do here to evolve that, let's say we want to start making some bigger swings. I'm still going to feel no hinge. And you can see I'm very wide on both sides. You can see my contact is pretty good. I'm delivering the club to the ball with a predictable amount of loft, because by feeling no hinge, the amount of loft here that I have at setup shouldn't really deviate too much. If I set up with X amount of loft, I should be able to deliver the X amount of loft back to the ball at impact relatively easily, because I'm not changing too much of my hinge or unhinge movement in the swing. If I'm able to maintain a straight line, I'm reducing all the variables we have in the golf swing. So again, if you struggle with hitting wedge shots, just try feeling no hinge, whether it's half swings or full swings. Just try to feel no hinge on both sides of the ball and go from there. So hope that helps. Any questions, just leave in the comments below, and we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks, guys.